Let's make something beautiful today. We're making some great little rings today that are easy, beginner friendly, and a little elevated with a twist shank. And two different varieties, one that you can add a little color, a little bead, or keep very minimal and modern. Lovely, both of them. So we're going to work on these today, and you're going to walk away with something beautiful on Tutorial Tuesday. Let's go over what you're going to need to make these great little rings. All your simple basics: bail pliers, cutters, some chain nose pliers, maybe even something like a bent nose if you like using that. And keep your nylon pliers handy just so you can keep your wire nice and clean, and definitely bench block in both of your chasing and nylon hammers. As for wire, our beaded ring is using a simple 20 gauge, and the minimal ring is going to step up to 18 gauge. And bead of your choice. Something small, something delicate that will allow you to achieve this curve and be comfortable on your finger. I think these are like a 3x6 millimeter, just little rondelles, something simple and sweet. Mix up the color if you want. Let's get our 20 gauge wire. We're going to make this beaded wire first. And we're going to pull out and clean off 7 inches of wire. With your bail pliers, and the smallest bail on my pliers is 2 millimeters. This is going to make one of our connecting loops on the side. And I'm just basically finding the middle, eyeballing that, pressing from both sides. We're going to make just a little loop. Something I always make sure to do when I'm getting ready to twist, for me, I like this wire that's coming from the right to be on the top because it works best with how my hand works. So you might discover that you like it the other way. This is just what it works for me, and I'll show you what I mean in just a few seconds. This is a great little spot to clamp onto things. Perfect. And this is what I mean by having this one that was on the right on the top, because my hand works in this direction. So it's easy for me to press my index on that one, thumb from underneath, and just do a natural twist like that. Just natural movement with your hand. So if that's how your hand wants to work, you're going to want that right side going to the left. It's kind of hard to say because it's already on the left, but working in this motion. I'm going to talk about this in a short, but something that I find that is absolutely key for the best twist is this angle right here. You're going to want it to be at least 90 degrees, if not greater, like I have. I'm not sure what that would be. 120 degrees, I'm not really sure, but something like that. And whatever your angle is, you want to keep maintaining that through every single twist, and all your twists will be nice and uniform. Just holding that very firmly right where the twist is. And after every twist, I'm checking, is my angle staying the same? If it's getting a little wonky, just press it back into alignment. Another thing you can do as your twist starts to grow, slide your pliers, or if you're using the bail plier like I am, just slide it down the twist, just for a little better control. And the length that we're going for here is from the tip of that loop on my left to the end of the twist. We're looking for about 3.5 centimeters to get about a size 6 ring. So adjust that accordingly. If you need something bigger, you need a little something smaller, try adding about a 0.5 centimeter per size up from a size 6. Now your size of your ring can always be adjusted by how many beads you put in there. So keep that in mind too. That's always, it's a very flexible ring when it comes to size. Let me check how much I've got going here first before I get carried away. Well, I've already got 3. So I'm practically there. I think I'm going to do maybe one more twist. Still maintaining that angle. I think I'm going to do one more. Just remember, you can adjust the size by the amount of beads that you use. I'm going to stick with that. Let's slide over our bench block and let's do some strengthening and some flattening. It's going to give a lovely texture and a very elevated look to this sweet little band. I think I have figured out that I love twists, I love wraps, I love lines of wire in a row, as you can tell by the several of our last videos. So I just love this look. I've switched over to my chasing hammer and I'm going to do some light flattening, and it's just going to bring out this twist. They are really going to shine. It's very subtle, but it just adds just a little something. Don't get rid of this just yet. I realize that I need to trim off our wires. We need to trim one of these off, and the other wires are going to become our matching loop on the other side. So we're going to trim one of these wires off. I'm trimming the one that's what I think is going to be on the bottom, just a little bit to the outside of that twist. And then this one gets trimmed to about 1 centimeter. Using the same bail that we used to make that loop, we're going to make a matching loop on the other end. I've still got my chasing hammer out, and I'm going to sit this on the side. A lot of these same techniques we're going to do in the next ring. And I'm just going to lightly hammer on its sides. So this is going to help straighten it out. And then you can also use your pliers to do any straightening as well. So if you have maintained your angle when doing your twist, you're going to get a lovely, even twisted shank here. How lovely for, if this was shorter, for simple links in a bracelet or for connections on an earring. Twists are just so subtle, and what a great way to bring all your pieces together in a very lovely way. So I've got my ring mandrel out here, and I did say that I'm going for a size 6. I'm just going to put that right on the 6, press with my thumb, and then press around on this size 6 until we've got it coming around in this kind of U shape. Make sure you take your nylon hammer and press down those ends. Hammer down, not press down. And you should come away with this kind of U shape that we are going to fill in between there with our beads. This just needs a little bit of a lining. I can feel its strength after we did all that hammering. You're going to see a difference as well. The more hammering you do, the better, the stronger the shank of this ring is going to be. So don't be afraid to use that nylon hammer and really strengthen this shank of this ring. You know what I did? I just pressed this around the ring mandrel with what would be the bottom. It's now on the outside. So when you go to do your ring, make sure the side that you cut, oh my goodness, is against your ring mandrel. My word. Wow. Okay. So I've got these little, I think they're amethysts, but when you hold them up to all the other amethysts that I have, these are very more periwinkle color, and I just loved those. And these work with 22 gauge. I like the thickest gauge I can possibly fit into the bead. It just means it's stronger. It's not going to snap on you. It's not going to get crimped as easily. And 22 was the largest gauge I could fit in here. And I usually go for about 4 inches for this part. So we're going to mount this little piece of wire, whatever gauge suits your beads, to our ring shank. And I just came out about 1 inch and made a little pre-bend. This is going to help us get this started. And this is the direction I have it going. Kind of the short end is looping back and coming around and facing me. take your ring shank and then turn this so you can go straight forward into that little loop, because once you do that, it'll turn this the way that we want it to go. Press that closed, grab that loop of the ring shank, and then press those wires together. This is going to help it get going in the direction. Now I'm holding this long piece in my right hand along with the ring shank, and I'm just going to pull that tight. Bring it down and hold that. I was like, this is so fiddly. I have got to find a way to help my wonky wire women be able to do this without pulling their hair out. So, fiddly things. So we're going to do 2 or 3 wraps to anchor this wire. Usually I do 3, just because, like the twist and everything else, I do like wraps. They are just so sweet. And I'm going to try to use my hands as much as possible to feed this wire in, because your tendency is wanting to grab the end and pull it to pull it tight, but what you're going to do is kink the end of your wire, and we still need to get beads on there. So try to feed it in as much as you can with just your hands. Now if you need to pull it with the pliers, just give yourself a little extra wire to work with. I mean, who cares?
Who cares?
All right, fine. I'll do one more. I almost grabbed the pliers. Did you see that? So you just got a little bit excess there. I'm going to come in with these pliers, and then just, you kind of do twist and pinch at the same time, and it will just bring that wire in tight around this little loop. Now we've got to get this short tail. We're going to do a little wrap around the neck of this extension of wire. Just going to help it be a little more secure. Now, if you got a bead that can handle like a bigger wire, like say 20 gauge, you might not even need to do this, but I just feel like it needs it. So pull that around, lay it across, and you can kind of see what we're doing here. We're just going to put a couple little wraps perpendicular to those other loops that we just made. A little tip that I discovered is that if you take some chain nose, bent nose, whatever, grab that loop and press it up against the wraps, it kind of, they can only move but so much, you know what I'm saying? They're going to move a little bit, but it's going to help stabilize the wraps a little bit more. It won't be perfect, and I might not be doing this the best way. This is the way I did it a gajillion times, so it seemed to work relatively well. Now, that is way far apart. We need to pinch that closed. And you can just press right on against the base of those previous wraps to squish them down. And I think I'll do one more just for good measure. Press it down and bring it around to the back and trim. Just doing a little fine tuning with these wraps just by giving a gentle squeeze, tightening things up, lining it up, pressing it into position. We should have a little something like that coming out from there. Now you get to do the fun part of putting on your favorite beads. I'm going to start with kind of skinny ones towards the outside of this, and then maybe find some of these thicker ones to put in the middle. I would pick up the one that doesn't fit. Jeez. There was one in there, and I found it. How are we doing? Probably going to fit maybe 3 more beads in there. Each one is just slightly different, so Just because I'm using 6 stones doesn't mean that you will. You might need to do something a little more, a little less. I'm going to go with that. It fills that gap. We're still going to round this out a little bit, and I'll show you the little technique that I did that really helped with that. Now this is the only kind of like little tricky part. We've got to get this wire, it needs to come from underneath and go in this loop. So it's a little tricky. Now this part you can start using your pliers if that's a little more helpful to you. Now this is the little trick that I really thought helped a lot. I put this back on the mandrel, the ring mandrel, down to the size that I'm looking for. I'm going for a 6. And what it also did is kind of round that wire out as well with those beads on it. And pull that pretty tight. And what this does is just help stabilize that ring in your hands while you're working on it. Plus, it opens up a little gap in there that's easy to feed the wire in. It really is a win-win. So we're going to repeat the same wraps, but one little thing I'm going to do is just clean up my wire a little bit. Plus, it's strengthening it as well. And we're going to put in those matching wraps. I'm supporting that loop as well, so I don't bend that out of shape. One more, but on this one, we are not going to loop back through the loop. We're just going to loop under to start doing those perpendicular wraps on there. And this is also going to help snuggle in those beads as well and fit them in there nice and tightly. It might look a little different than the other side because you might be running out of room and they're sitting more on top of each other than side by side like it's happening to me. There we go. I fixed it. I'm going to go for one more to make this match. I think I needed to take it off the mandrel so I could really direct it now. Take your thin nose, chain nose, your little tweezer nose here to press that in there. And bring it around underneath, hiding that little tail. It's ridiculous to trim. I'm going to press in that tail. Now we need to look how everything is sitting. I want to move these wraps back over to more of the center of the loop, but man, they must be on there so tight. And I can't, oh, it's moving a little bit. There we go, there we go. Very gentle, small movements. I got it back to the center of that loop.
Amazing.
And I just want to, being gentle here because these are natural stones, just line it up a little bit more. You can do a little more strengthening if you want. Great little ring. And that is ring number 1. So if you want to do something a little more minimal that doesn't use any beads, this is the ring. It is so cute. Where's that little one? Look how cute that is. Really, really sweet. You could put a bead in there if you want. I mean, there's enough room to wrap a little bead in there. So that is an option. Let's get this one going. It's 18 gauge. And we're going to pull out a little more. I think I discovered that about 9 inches is what you need for a lot of different sizes. All right, so I've got 9 inches of 18 gauge with our bail pliers. We're going to go with 2 different bail sizes that are going to give us this separation. So for mine, I chose 9 and 5, the 9mm and the 5mm. I'm going to place this right in the middle of our wire, press evenly on both sides, and we're going to crisscross. And we're going to bring these wires back like they're in a straight line again, just like that. Take that off your pliers, and then we have to turn, well, I have to turn to get to this 5mm. This is my 5mm bail. And I'm going to press it up against where these wires cross. And with one of these wires, I'm going to start wrapping around that 5mm bail. It's a little tricky to continue on because we need that wire to come back out straight again like we just did the first time. So you might have to do a little finagling and moving of this wire, moving of your pliers, that is, to get them looking like this. We need this separation because when the twist and everything comes back around, it's going to connect on that one. So I think I've got enough separation there. Now, holding this firmly, we're going to manually make that angle that we're looking for. I guess it is bigger than 90 degrees. I'm not really sure what it is. I guess if I had a protractor handy, I could do that. Just don't have one handy. We're just going to manually make this degree, this opening, by bending the wires. And the same thing, just start twisting. And as far as I could tell, you see how this is a really great opportunity to show you. This one is still going out nice and flared out, but this one has kind of come into more of the midline. This is when you want to press that back open a little bit to keep that angle right in there, the same for each of the twists. And as far as I could tell, there was some couple variations, and I'm trying to figure out why the variation, but about 2 1/4 from the edge of these loops to the end of the twist. About 2 1/4 makes size 6 1/2. So you can add more twist depending on if you need a bigger size or less if you need a smaller size. You can also affect the size of your ring by using smaller. Same, you got to have the distance, you got to have the separation, but you can make that smaller as well. Same process. Holding firmly, pinching right on that twist, making sure our angle stays the same for each twist. And I'm going for like 2 1/4 inches. You know what? Let's do 2 inches and see what it is, because I never did just 2 inches to see what it would come out to be. Let me see what we've got so far. Okay, so I've got 1.5 inches. Let me go a little further. I think I'm going to use some pliers to hold this. How's that? Just a little bit more. I want to stop right there. This is hanging off. No, we got to fix that. Just put your pliers back in there, your bail plier, and right in that neck, just push over the twists so it lines up a little better. This ring is going to match the earrings that we made several months ago. It's going to be absolutely perfect for that. All right, next stage is we need to make these little ends, the little straight ends that are going to hook on to one of these loops. Taking your chain nose pliers, we're going to put it right into that little joint there, and then just twist, turn, so it's coming straight out from the twist. Turn everything over, and you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. All right, so we've got something like that. Hammer time.
Hammer time.
Let's trim these ends down to 1 centimeter. All right, let's see what this 2 inches from the edge of our loops to the end of the twist turns out to be. Let's put it on the 6 to see what it does. I think that's going to be just about perfect. And what I'm looking for is the end of the twist is going to butt up to the edge of this loop. So that's what I'm looking for. Actually, I think this is going to be a little smaller. Maybe a size 5. What we're going to do here is give some hammering with our nylon hammer all the way around to really get it into that ring shape. And I'm going to line this back up to the center. And you're thinking, how in the world are we supposed to get that through that loop, Carrie? Well, we're going to have to do it with our pliers. And you're going to make a bend. So you press it down, it'll slip in there. Not to worry that it looks a little wonky, because that's what our ring mandrel is for. We can just pop that right back on there. Take your chain nose pliers and just make our little loops. Before I press them all the way down, I'm just going to file this a little bit just to smooth it out. And now we can press these little loops down. I want to see something first though. I want to put this back on the mandrel. Pull it down. Do a little more reshaping. Okay, perfect. All right. See, the ring mandrel saved the day. You can always pop it back on there to reshape, re-strengthen, anything. It's a really great tool, kind of a really necessary tool if you're going to make wire wrap jewelry. It's good for so many different things, not just rings. That's what's so wonderful about it. Pressing these loops down as low profile as I can get them. Say you cut these, you cut the ends so you can make these little loops and they're just like too bulky. You can come right back in with your flush cutters and just trim off the edges of the loops. Just make them a little smaller. I had to do that one other time. I'm just helping to shape this ring a little bit more. See how that is just really coming out? There's so much you can do, just even with pliers. Don't be afraid to scratch your wire. Remember how we talked about we could use all of our finishing to really make a nice piece. And if you wanted, you've got room in there to put a little bead. I mean, totally what you want to do. And if I wanted to sell this, I really wanted to take this further, I would get my radial discs out and I would sand all this in this, even make this a little more low profile. I would use my polishing compounds and definitely throw this baby in the tumbler. It will come out just glorious. I have a couple videos that demonstrate those items in my tumbler, so definitely check those out. So if you love twists as much as I do, aren't these just adorable? I just love that look. This one you see that, because I had said, oh, you know, you need to use smaller beads so it can have that shape. This one, just the size of the pearl and that I had a flat bottom, worked perfectly with that. Well, in addition to having a moment to learn something, I hope it inspired creativity and you had a moment to relax, you had a moment to chill, learn something new. I love twists. We did a great video a couple I don't know if it was months or weeks, it's time is just flying by, of the earrings, the set of 3 earrings with the twists. I love that look, so I'm hoping that you incorporate this maybe into a set to go along with that. It's such a great way to take what would be a simple straight shank and just add a little flair to it. Really is special. So if you're into beads, here's your option. If you want something simple, I got you covered. Well, another Tutorial Tuesday is in the books. And again, thank you for commenting and sharing, liking, definitely commenting. I think you can tell by now that I read and respond to every single comment. I love it. I love hearing from you, and I'm so touched by so many wonderful wonky wire women that tell me that they just love to hang out. They love to be with a girlfriend, and I'm here for you each and every week on a Tuesday. Let's make something beautiful again next week on Tutorial Tuesday. A nice. Are we being serious here? Oh, there wasn't 20K. Can't see my notes. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. Jeez, the freaking day. I don't know why I bothered doing that. Is this the one I'm doing? No, I'm not. Hold on a second. What? I'm reading the wrong directions. Oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I did it the wrong way. That's not the way I do it. I can't even remember how I do this after I just did it a gajillion times. Gosh, come on. I am so just like grr today. I'm like thrown off. And if you're in, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? You just, you know, come on. I really don't know what I'm saying. I'm just so, I need more coffee. Help me, Lord.